Okay, so what we've done is this process which is called sketch-ins. And this is like a notional, it's kind of a screen design, but it's more of a screen design in principle than in reality. So we've tried to think of all the elements that you definitely need to have the kind of MOOC interactions that we think would work. So they're going to need to know where they are, where am I, they're going to need to know who they are, like a profile thing, what are we doing, what are we doing it with, and then probably more interesting areas, who is here and what are they saying. And on what are they saying, we're thinking that could aggregate tweets that have the OLDSMOOC hashtag on it. And we're also thinking as well that you could get a service that would aggregate all hashtagged OLDSMOOC's tweets that have links in and aggregates them in a social bookmarking service that can be brought back in as well. So delicate use of hashtags, whether that's week by week or overall, would be a way of aggregating student conversation, but also resources as well that would be, student suggested and facilitator suggested, and kind of bringing them back in. We also think that Twitter could be a pretty decent way of dealing with the 5-minute engagement problem, if you like, because obviously that's what Twitter's all about, is a kind of 5-minute engagement thing. And then we monetized it with the ads for pay-for courses from the institution. No, that's not entirely serious. And an annoying Google ad. No, we wouldn't actually do that, but we might do that. And then we'd have suggestions for other places people could go that are relevant, and the kind of fairly standard kind of share links, so that you keep the whole thing flowing round and around, and more practical things like calendars. So that's most of the elements that we think that you need somewhere on screen. Whether they're all on the same screen or not, it's difficult to say. But one of our major things that we weren't sure about is whether the design of the MOOC is going to have synchronous events as part of it, or whether you can just get away with a kind of ongoing flow through something like Twitter. That's a tricky one to say, isn't it? I mean, most MOOCs will have these kind of guest lectures almost, or something like that, and I don't know how crucial they are to give the thing a cohesion, or whether it really makes any difference or not. So that's a big question, because we haven't got that in there. I mean, normally it would just be a link off to this week's event, which is taking place at 1400 hours GMT plus 1 check this clock. But it's questionable, you might not even need it.
My intuition is that if it's just a talking head, there's no reason to constrain people to a specific time. So if it's just you giving a talk on whatever, then might as well record it, put it online, and people view it whenever they want. The rationale for synchronous event is having real-time conversation. So if you say if you put that video online, people can view it at any time by, say, Wednesday 4 p.m. and then Wednesday 4 p.m. you just have a question and answer session, which is live. So that for me seems
that's
like
what I call the sort of field trip in design. So everybody takes on board a certain amount of information, so there's a kind of a level playing field conceptually, and you set up the expectation for what the synchronous event's going to be. Then you all go into the synchronous event, which is the equivalent of field trip, which might be a little bit choppy and a bit chaotic. And then you come back out again and there's a sort of guided reflection on the subject and on the chaos of the field trip, if you like. I think that can work.
The best example of that I've seen was in PS1. I think it's normally about week 6. The course leader does like a call-in radio show. Kind of basically all the students call in, like on a talk show or something. Kind of like in 6 and 6, and say, "Oh, this course is terrible. I can't get my head around this stuff. I'm finding it really hard doing this." And the course leader could say, "Yeah, I understand that. I've just tried talking to these guys about it. If you looked at these resources." So that kind of call-in surgery, but everyone can hear that.
Surgery's a good word for it.
And plus there's a little bit of kind of overacting as well. They kind of take it to a slightly over the top level, and they get people ringing up saying, "That Jim Groom is dreadful. What the hell do we do with teaching? Even teaching like that." It kind of gets a bit over the top, so it becomes something that people actually want to participate in, because it is actually enjoyable to watch and listen to.